constitutes an email. I mean, we are breaking down it part by part. So one is subject line, of course. Subject line is, in my sense, it's 50% of the game, because if your email is not opening up, if your email is not being opened up, and the whole research, the whole proposition, the whole formatting, the whole gif or meme that you used, everything goes with it. If it gets deleted just by reading the subject line. So everybody reads those subject lines, and those subject lines should be catchy enough, or should be able to pique somebody's interest that enough that they open that email, they do not delete it. Subject lines could be, I mean, could be or should be short, because again, the longer subject lines get cut in in the preview, as well as nobody has the time to read and retain all of that knowledge that you're giving, trying to give in a just a subject line. It should be simple, very very simple. It should build curiosity, and it should be again related to immediate relevancy. When I say immediate relevancy, you might try mentioning their competition's name, you might try mentioning the one of their customers name, you might try mentioning a recent pain point that they might be facing. You might have researched about it in their annual reports or in their social feeds and everything. Or you just have a really great idea that this might be the pain point that they're facing. For example, if I'm selling an HR management solution, who would I sell to? The most high intent leads would be people who are scaling up. They're As they are scaling up, you don't see a direct pain point there. But if and when they are scaling up, so what happens is it becomes tougher to manage those people, create those databases and leaves and management, and it just cannot be a Slack message thing. You have to have proper software in place, right? So I can put down that pain point in the subject line and attract that attention. Any event that they might have been part of. And again, surely we can A/B test a lot to see which subject line is getting us more open rates. Few examples I've written here for you guys. I think there's a question.
Yeah, I have a question, Harsh.
Okay. Sure.
Um, so A/B testing, you said, I have a doubt with that. What is A/B testing? Like subject line A and subject line B, we have to test trial and error with that,
Sure. I mean,
which gets more open rates. That is what it is.
yeah, if you use any sales engagement tool or sequencing tool, they normally give an option to A/B test your your subject line. A/B testing is again using a certain subject line over certain half of your, let's say, half of your sample set, and using another subject line over another half of your subject set. I mean, again, these proportions could be adjusted, but A/B testing, I mean, Karthik would understand from design principles. It's called like understanding which thing is working really great for you. So if, let's say I am using, coming back to the slide, if I'm using John loved your keynote, and in the second email I'm using Amy, I had to write to you, and let's say Amy, I had to write to you, like Amy again could be replaced by first name variable, uh, is giving me the most number of opens. So for me, that's a direct winner. I would want to use that more often. And if again, that kind of understanding, data-driven understanding, is what A/B testing means. Uh, I hope that clears it. Pratik,
Yes, Harsh.
was that clear?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sure. So there are combination of subject lines which I've written. I mean, again, there can be a myriad of combinations you can mix and match. I've tried, like this subject line is known as first name loved your event, right? Any event that they attended. For example, you attended G2. You could email those 35, 40 people and talk about something like G2 loved meeting you at G2 Summit, and that will get opened up. Amy, I had to write to you this email. I mean, let's say you get an email like, Pratik, I had to write to you. So you would be curious, right? Why the person had to write to me? Razor pay rise. Let's say I'm targeting somebody who's a head of community at some place, and I have Razor pay rise as my customer. So this is that subject line. Razor pay rise, a community or a product, because they might have been observing Razor pay rise for their community understanding and everything, and they also want to grow like Razor pay rise. And if I am selling, like, let's say, Threadio is a community management platform. So if I put down there that Razorpay Rise is my customer, and I have an interesting insight about them. So this email will get opened up. Then again, there's this principle: if you keep it simple, stupid. Like if you can't, I mean, I have that refined in my mind. If you can't be creative, be direct, because being direct also, open creates a lot of curiosity, or saves people's time. For example, I used to sell a call center product, and if I would use this kind of a subject line where I'm just saying about call center operational expenses, OPEX, it feels like an internal email, right? It feels like somebody has sent who has some knowledge about my call center operational expenses. Then, as I said, selling an HR tool, I could just write scaling up, and then again, curiosity is being driven. Then we can include company names. If your company is super popular and then using your company names. Let's say if I was working at Cred or Google or Microsoft or even of the popular startups, I would want to use my company names in the subject line, because in SaaS everybody kind of knows everybody. And good popular companies, let's say I was working in Lucia. I was working in Zoom Info. I would want to use that company name here, because again, these companies' reputation precedes their email. So I can like this. I can put something like that. And again, certain type of event. Let's say they signed a deal with WalkMe, uh, and I want to just simply congratulate them on that. And the next steps. When I say next steps, it again generates curiosity in their mind. But what I would be linking it internally in my email would be that WalkMe deal happened. Post deal compliance is an issue which everybody suffers with. Why don't you use our X and X software, which automates your post deal compliances and accelerates your acquisition, something like that. If I was selling that, so it does make sense, to open up this email, and after even opening up, they won't feel they got cheated, because you're literally talking about the next steps and a pain point associated with it. Something like this can also work. Should I call next week? Because let's say if you have been, I mean, again, it has different context. If you have been following up with the person, if you have been reaching out to them on LinkedIn and everything, so you can use something like this and then tell them like, dear sir, or dear, first time I have been reaching out to you, and I understand, you might be caught up in a lot of other things. So should I call next week or something like that? Again, there is no cheating.